that one back there against the wall. See it?
Yes.
That was the one that I set up. So I skipped that.
New town engineer.
Okay.
And we do speak about 88 Pawtucket Road
Okay.
whenever you would like to allow him to.
Yeah, I think we'll get through this and bring him in the other. Okay.
No buttons working now.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right.
There's no need to record it. It's no public hearing.
Well, it's on the tape. I mean, they can get it off of that.
Right.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the North Branford Planning and Zoning regular meeting for January 2nd, 2025. Happy New Year, North Branford, and those who are watching on the internet. I'd like to remove your caps and join me in saluting the flag, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to introduce the members of the commission seated here tonight. To my left is Bill Gondenzi, our vice chair. To his left is Ron Sienna, regular member of the commission. To my right is Janet Crane, our recording secretary. And at the administrative table tonight is David Perkins, our town planner. Finally, my name is Robert Nowak. I am the chairman for the commission seated tonight. Next order of business is to consider the approval of the minutes from December 12th, 2024. We do have a quorum for the meeting, and there's two out of the three members here who were at the meeting on the 12th. So when you get a chance, if you have the meeting minutes, you want to review them and let me know if you have any changes, corrections, or modifications. And when you're ready, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes when you're ready.
Can I make a motion? And I know I can't, I have to abstain because I wasn't there, but can I make a motion or second, you know, the minutes?
That's right.
I
can't-
I was not here.
I don't think so.
I can't do anything,
But
right?
you can still second them as chairman.
Yeah, okay, you can.
Okay.
Got it.
Sorry, I can't make the motion, but I can second. Okay, fair enough.
I motion we accept the minutes from December 12th, 2024.
We have a motion, I have a second. I second the minute for December 12th. Any discussion in the minutes? We have a motion, we have a second to approve the minutes for December 12th. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Abstain?
Abstain?
Motion carries 2-1. Meeting minutes for December 12th are approved. Next on the agenda is public hearing, possible action. Number 4, there's no action on number 4. Number 5, old business. Nothing in old business. And number 6, we have new business to consider the application 2024-26, 43 Pawtucket Road, R40 subdivision. Applicant, come up and state your name and address for the record and describe to us your project for us.
Good evening, Jim Preddy, Criscolo Engineering, 420 East Main Street in Branford, representing M&V LLC. One of the owners, Mark Andrucci, is here with me tonight. It's a 6-acre piece that, unfortunately for me, straddles the town line. Most of the property is in Branford, a little over an acre is in North Branford, but the access to a portion of it is off of Pawtucket Road. We're looking to split it into 3 lots, 3 single-family homes. So 2 would be coming off of a common driveway, a single common driveway on Pawtucket Road, and 1 would be coming off a Hilltop Drive on the Branford side, up on the top of the hill. We provided a subdivision map, an overall layout for possible house layouts. which has been reviewed and approved at the subdivision level at the health department already, with the caveat that when the final house design is picked for each lot, it will have to go back for their final review, but that's common. And it will, at that point, it would also get reviewed by zoning and engineering staff again, as each lot gets developed. The new town engineer has reviewed the plan. The only thing he asked for was a catch basin on the downhill side of the new driveway. So any of the water coming down the common driveway gets picked up before it goes down to Tuckett Road. I did notice actually today when I went out to look at that, that it just recently, I don't know when, the last few months, they ran water up just in front of just to the other side of this property, just recently.
Right.
So the wells that are shown on this plan actually probably won't happen now. This will probably get water service. But it had been approved for private wells, so either way. But giving that, now that the water's there, when East Shore gets this back, they'll most likely say you have to connect to the public water. This application's also before Branford. When we laid this out, because the majority of the property is in Branford and their subdivision regulations are a little more restrictive, we designed this to their regulations. Their regulations take any slopes greater than 25% out of the minimum lot area, which is why we only got 3 lots and over 6 acres. We will be before them on February 6th for the same thing that we're here for. And that's it. Pretty simple. Again, we're just looking to create the lots at this point, and we'll have to be back under multiple reviews once the final house designs are chosen.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Dave?
Are there any questions, concerns about street numbers and whether Branford determines what the street number is?
Yeah,
or North Branford does, or
I actually
how the fire department's going to get there?
I'm not really sure who assigns the street number to it, but I was guessing that the 2 lots that are partially in North Branford would end up with North Branford addresses because the street is in North Branford. Otherwise, everyone will get lost.
Right, well, it's sort of like Lantern View, but that's a town road.
Right.
Though Branford has to drive all the way through North Branford to plow it.
Right. So their frontages will be on North Branford Street. A portion of the property, both lots will be in North Branford, so I think
So I think we
Most
worked
likely.
that out between the towns.
Yeah, I'm assuming, Dave, that the street that's just to the south, one of the houses at the end of the street is in Branford, but it's on Branford Road, North Branford Fire Department services that one, I guess? Similar to
Well,
these
whoever,
two.
I mean, the 911 call will go to Branford.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll refer it to North Branford or whatever, but
Okay. I would assume you would do the numbers, Dave, no? Street numbers?
I mean, typically we do them as a commission,
Right, exactly. That's interesting.
but the
I
lots
thought the
in
assessors-
Branford.
Yeah, right.
I always thought the assessor assigned the.
Well, he does, but we technically have to bless it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We let him make the decision, but we really do.
The only other thing I should add is that just past the property here, this property here is owned by the Regional Water Authority, so this access to this property, this is a Branford problem, not your problem, but
Yeah.
but the RWA, because they're an engineer there, have also reviewed this already and had very minor comments, erosion controls, no storage of fuel oils, that kind of thing. But
How do you access? Where is the access for that back lot? From the
it's
Branford
off-
side off?
yeah,
Like you just showed?
it's Hilltop
Yeah, that
Drive.
little thing off the Snake Hill that goes up
Yeah,
that way, it's
That's correct.
off of that.
yeah. There's about 4 or 5 houses on that road,
Yeah.
or more on that, on that road
Yeah,
already.
okay, that's how. Huh.
Jim, you aware of the staff report? It's planning and zoning, December 20th, 2024. There's 6 bullets. You had made mention of, you had made mention about adding a catch basin area at the bottom of the driveway.
They have these at special.
I'm assuming they're in now.
No, I don't think they are.
Draft.
There's no special conditions. Oh, there, okay.
Yeah, these, I did have a conversation with him. The only one he pointed out to me was the catch basin in the road. But because these are individual lots, the stolen order will be handled on each lot separately. And we're addressing the driveway with the catch basin, so, but everything else is acceptable, it's fine.
Okay. The only question I would have for, commission members, have any questions, comments for the applicant?
No, pretty straightforward since Branford's got most of the heavy lift here.
All right.
So I think the only thing I have for you, Jim, in most of our subdivisions, don't we always have some kind of buffer between adjacent homes, kind of adjacent properties, like the driveway comes up and across the North Branford line, basically? Shouldn't there be some kind of screening on the lower part of that property?
Well, you know, we have the interior lots in North Branford that require the 10-foot setback.
Setback, yeah.
And these are interior lots, but they're Branford interior lots, they're not North Branford interior lots.
It is kind of
True,
a gray area.
But it starts in North Branford and ends up in Branford, and the residents are in North Branford looking at a guy who lives in Branford. And then so,
It's only setback, so it's not screening.
it's not screening, it's
I
only
think
setback?
I think the regs say vegetated area, but currently this entire site is
Yeah.
wooded right now, so, you know, we can add the 10-foot easement to the plans, it's not an issue, but like in the area in back of these houses here.
Right, Jim, that's a section.
It won't get cut anyway, so there'll be, whatever existing vegetation's there is there. Not gonna cut down trees to plant trees.
No.
But as far as the screening on the driveway side, I mean, if that's something that the commission feels is necessary, we could certainly
That's
add that in.
not where the lines are on the interior lots. They're not on the driveway. They're on the abutting properties in the back.
Correct. Right. So where Jim pointed out originally, that's where I was thinking of as a rear lot to North Branford, that's would be on that.
Where, show us.
Oh, is it only,
Where the driveway was.
Dave, is it only on the rear? Is that what
It's
it's?
on the side and the rear, right?
Yeah. So this is the lot line for these 2 lots. This is quite a part of a steep area, and it's all wooded now, so that'll have vegetation.
That's in Branford, though, all of
But
it.
all of that's in
All of
Branford,
that's
yeah, so
Branford.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
that's
it's a little
not-
bit of a gray area.
You're talking the front of it.
No, I was
Yeah.
just talking North Branford residents
Yeah,
versus
so
the
the only,
the
I
new
think
homes.
the only spot that
Right.
would really
Yeah.
apply here would be along
Right
here.
there.
That's correct. Right.
But again, there's existing vegetation, but we can add the 10-foot easement so that that vegetation is protected.
Okay. Ron, have anything? Questions,
And
comments?
it's pretty steep there. You doing cuts and fills, or is it all fills? or-
Most of our activities before it gets really steep, so there'll be, there'll probably be walkout or a drive under garages, that kind of thing.
No, I mean, from Totoket Road.
No, we tried to match grades as close as we could. There's a little cut and fill, yeah, for sure, but not like, tremendous amounts.
Jim, do you have ENS controls what you're gonna do to maintain that, going down that driveway?
We did show
Check
silt
dams.
fence and a construction entrance, and we have standard details for other stuff that may come up during construction. You know, if there's a swale that gets created by part of the excavation, we have a detail for hay bale check dams and that sort of thing.
Okay, I don't want Tracy to get mad at you, because that is a state route, you know. All that dirt washing on the road, that won't be good for you.
Right.
So is that a state road?
I didn't think so.
No? I thought it was, but I don't know.
Well, I think it's state maintained,
State maintained, right?
but I think it's town road.
Yeah, well, it's true.
I mean, it doesn't have a number.
I thought, excuse me, I thought that part of Totoket Road was a state road
It is.
where it goes, when it crosses 80,
Oh.
you know, that's a town road.
Right.
Because back when the earth was new, we tried to get the state to take all of Totoket Road, and they wouldn't. They would only take between 80 and Route 1.
Oh, okay.
So are you gonna need to get
So they'll have to review the curb cut, but
are you gonna need to
But
talk to
there's-
Tracy, is that what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So, you know,
she reviews other stuff, other towns too, so, you know, in District 3, but, we have the room for the radii, and it's not, I don't think it's an issue here.
No, I don't think so either. Any other questions or comments?
No, I'm good.
Commission? Dave, you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think there is a draft motion
Yeah.
created, and I think the only,
I added a couple. I was gonna go. So I added 23, 24, and 25. You had 23, right?
yeah,
And then I had 24, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is adherence to the town engineer's memo dated December 20th, right?
Yeah.
And the last one is to add a 10-foot easement on the interior lot border between Branford and North Branford. I don't know if that's adequately to your point.
Well, I guess,
10 foot.
Yeah, it's not on the border between Branford and North Branford, it's behind the existing lots that front on Totoket Road.
a landscaping easement, is that what it is?
landscaping easement, yeah.
And I believe the language in there is something about landscaped or natural state, I think, something like that, so.
Right.
What did you say, between,
It's behind the existing lots on Totoket Road.
So that's in the dogleg area? So to
No,
speak?
here. Behind
Yeah.
these lots.
Yeah.
right in that spot.
Yeah.
And is that in Branford, is that point?
No, that's in North Branford.
Okay.
okay,
Whenever you're ready.
do you want me to read it? Since I wrote all that. Want me to read it?
Go right ahead.
All right. I move, here it is, sorry, I was reading the front one. I move to approve P and Z application 2024-26, 43 Pawtucket Road, re-subdivision of parcel in conjunction with the town of Branford for the creation of 3 lots known as 72 Hilltop Drive, Branford, with frontage and driveway on Pawtucket Road, North Branford, Assessor Map 7, Lot 4, R40 zone. Owner Mark Keegan, trustee applicant M&V LLC, as described in the submitted application documents and shown on plans entitled 43 Pawtucket Road, North Branford, Connecticut, and 72 Hilltop Drive, Branford, Connecticut, prepared for Mark Andrucci, prepared by Criscola Engineering LLC, containing the following sheets, page 1 of 3, proposed subdivision plan dated October 16th, 2024, page 2 of 3, overall site layout plan dated October 16th, 2024, Page 3 of 3, erosion and sediment control notes and details dated October 16, 2024. With the following standard conditions: 1A, 1B, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 14, and 18, and special conditions 23, 24, and 25. 23 being conditions upon approval from the town of North Branford for their subdivision approval.
Branford.
The town, read that again. Conditioned upon approval from the town of Branford for their subdivision approval. Number 24, adherence to the town engineer's memo dated December 20th, 2024. And number 25 is to add a 10-foot landscaping and or natural easement behind existing lots on Totucket Road.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second to approve re-subdivision application 2024-26, 43 Totucket Road. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right, next item on the agenda is other. We have a gentleman in the audience who'd like to come up and state your name and address for the record, and we'll have a conversation. Okay, no.
You can sit there with some microphone right there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
See?
sorry, I'm not used to these guys.
It's all right.
Neither are we.
I feel like I'm in Donald Trump's residence now.
There you go.
Hello? You hear me?
You're not even on.
I'm not on?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like, but that's all right.
That's all right, we can hear you.
Okay, listen, I've been here 26 years in North Branford. I'm a 76-year-old gentleman, okay?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You know our names. What's your name and your...
Roy Volta.
Rival.
Roy Volta,
Roy.
VOLTA.
Okay.
All right. I live at 76 Totucket Road, North Branford.
Okay, thanks, Roy.
I've been here 26 lovely years and never had a problem. Next to me used to be Bobby Cirillo's. He used to be the welder over there, manufacturer of welding.
Yeah.
Okay, nicest guy of all. He passed, and then Tommy Secondini's right next to him. And I'm the house over here, and they're in the hole. My situation is that since he took over the property, he turns around, he's got it wall to wall, cars, trucks on 4 acres. You got more traffic in that and stuff in there than you have on any one of your streets in North Branford here. Now, I'm coming over here and I didn't know what was going on tonight because all the people in the area, we came in here and we zoned it down. Now, Mr. Perkins just told me a few minutes ago they changed the zoning over. But if I'm residential and he's over to trying to get commercial, you're saying? How you saying?
Industrial.
What?
Industrial.
Industrial, right? And I have some pictures. Could I show you the pictures? What's in the land?
Sure. I don't think...
Would
Oh,
you
know
mind?
what he's talking about?
Could I walk up
This is
there?
across from Silly Putty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
I've seen it. I mean,
You've been in the lot?
I haven't been inside, but I go by.
Could I bring these
it.
up
I go
here?
by
Sure.
and look.
Oh.
Want me to
I don't
grab
want-
it from you?
yeah,
Want me
I
to grab
don't
it
want
from
to
you? I'll
Listen.
grab it from you.
Again, I'm unprepared because I didn't know what was happening. I just saw the capture in the shoreline paper.
You come pretty prepared.
Listen.
Anyway.
Listen, we got the whole neighborhood is open arms. Here's what's going on. This is 4 acres. I'm not here to give you a hard time. I ran over there. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Again, I'm residential. He's industrial. Tommy Secondini, he's residential. This here, I'm gonna tell you something, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, they're starting up trucks, they're working them. And another thing is, they have campers, they're storing campers and everything with propane tanks on and everything. God forbid, one of those tanks, let go, you're gonna blow the thing. You got firewood up higher than the building over there. It's out of control. And he's not slowing down. He's going what? He's getting $300 to $400 per spot. Why are we gotta suffer in the neighborhood? Like I said, we got Williams Road. I was unprepared because I didn't know until the last minute I see the capture in the shoreline paper, the little thing, all right? I would have had all the other people, because when we all came down, I'm talking about this here, I wasn't by myself. Now I feel naked because I'm one guy on all you guys against me.
This is currently a non-conforming use. It's a residential, has
It's still
non-conforming, right?
residential, Roy.
It's still residential.
But what I'm saying to myself, you
Yeah,
got
no,
campers,
yeah,
motorhomes,
no, I
and
understand.
it's out of control.
Mhm.
I swear to God, I fear it at nighttime, because like I say, then you got a guy's car hauler coming in all hours of the night. It's not fair to us.
Hmm.
It's not fair to us.
Right.
And like I say, and he turned around. Oh, spectrum.
So I don't have it in front of me, but we've been discussing this since they came to try to
Yeah.
change the zone
Yeah.
a number of months ago.
Yes.
We had one of our first parades of
Here's
people
what he said,
being
he wasn't gonna do
entertained
nothing.
by our.
Now all of a sudden, we're opening up a can of worms again, and like I say, and the neighborhood's up in arms. Like I say, I'm sorry, I feel naked because I don't have my tribe with me.
No, it's okay.
So the owner started building a rooftop between two
Ship containers.
trailers.
Okay.
What do you call them? The
Shipping containers.
Oh,
shipping containers.
Yeah.
So he put on top of it, he started building a roof.
yeah, Conex.
And Roy called me and said, "What is he doing?" And I went over and said, "You can't do that. You need a building permit, you need a zoning permit, and everything else." And so he stopped. And then a week or two later, he started pouring a pad underneath the structure. And Roy called me again, and I went out there and talked to the owner of the business, and proceeded to get my act together to write them a cease and desist order and, take care of business. And as I researched it, I found out that, lo and behold, there was a variance granted to the property in the 80s to allow any use in the I-2 zone on that property. A variance by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Wow.
So they didn't have to come here to get their zone changed. They were not aware of the variance. Roy was not aware of the variance. I wasn't until I did my research before I wanted to, do what I do.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
But I even mentioned it last time when they came here, if
You
they,
remember when we did come here? Yeah.
the zone change, in industrial zones, there's only limited outdoor storage.
Right. There's tractor trailers over there, there's
Right,
motorhomes
you could
over
only
there.
have an X
he
percentage of your
owns
property.
those RVs, and he sells them. They're not stored there.
You got tractor trailers, you got firewood, you got.
The registered
Just
vehicles?
take
No,
my word.
they're
Just take a
they're
walk, take a drive over and
unregistered.
see what I'm saying. I'm not hallucinating, believe me when I tell you.
That's not considered storage. Have unregistered vehicles.
So it's for sale on his property?
Well, they're for sale
In
on this
I-2?
property.
Plus,
They're
not only
a-
that there,
It's,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun. You got other contractors in there, everybody's working out of this place. Another thing, in North Branford, if these guys are legit, I mean, I see so many business guys coming and going over there. You know how much revenue you're losing over there? You know how much contamination is in the tractor trailers on an industrial spot? You gotta take a ride there, I'm telling you something. I beg you guys, I plead with you guys, just take a look and see.
Well, Roy, let me ask you
Go
this.
ahead.
What are you asking of us?
Tell them to clean up this act, come on, it's
That's not-
ridiculous.
I don't think that's what we could do.
Well, he wasn't,
He has a variance for
Well, I
industrial too, right?
yeah, but not to,
So as long as he fits within those boundaries, our hands are tied as a commission. I think it's up to the zoning enforcement officer.
Yeah.
well, he's gotta
More
do something,
than
because,
us.
listen, if the
Right.
fire marshal came over there and sees, if something happens, you know what you're gonna do? You're not gonna be able to contain the fire. You're not gonna control what's going over there. What's all the feces of all the other guys coming over there? They're not outside facilities over there. You got the wood pile higher in the building. If that catches fire, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna take the whole corner off.
Understood, Roy. I
Actually,
understand
I-
and hear what you're trying to say to us, but I don't think we have any jurisdiction at this point in time in our legislative capacity with the variance in industrial two zone.
Well, how do I go about this? Like I say, because, listen, we're residential. There's no way that this should be what it is.
I understand that. I don't,
And then he devaluates the property on top of it. Because if you got a junkyard next to you, and you devaluate the properties, am I saying it right?
Did you get your
You need-
email yet?
You need,
I don't know.
you need to speak to an attorney.
Because like I say, because everybody's open arms, like I say, again.
I understand, but this is a situation between you and your neighbor.
And he's
And
not-
I've explained to you that there is a variance, and Bob has just explained to you that it's a zoning enforcement issue.
Well, why
And I'm
did-
telling you that my hands are pretty much tied.
Okay, why
And if
did
you want to take this up as an action, you need to find an attorney who will handle your claim and will protect your interests.
Because like I say, how did the variance come out of nothing? Because you saw the letter when he wrote to you that he was he's walking away, and all of a sudden, a variance comes out of nowhere?
Well,
Didn't come out of nowhere, it came out of the town clerk's office,
Yeah, when was it from? 80s? 1980?
if not earlier.
that's before me and you.
It was when Cirillo,
I was there in 1998.
There you go. It's
Yeah, I
not
know what it
before.
was, but like I say,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
how would you like to be living next to that?
Well, the funny thing is, Roy, you've been living next to it, but you just didn't realize it
No,
until
no.
this guy blew it
No,
up.
no. When,
Right, you know what I mean?
Right, no. Let me, cause,
Because well, you and I didn't know, neither did the town.
listen, when Bobby Cirillo was there, a right-handed guy, he had 4 acres, he was gonna build houses over there, Bobby Cirillo, but he didn't make it. So he wound up selling the lot. And Bobby Cirillo's lot, there wasn't all these campers and trucks and everything, there wasn't all this stuff. There's more equipment in there than you have on,
Yeah.
you go down Route 80, there's more in this one little cubbyhole. Do you understand when they start up those diesel trucks, the smell, the smoke that comes up over the mountain, you know what it's doing to us? You're killing us. And the rest of the neighborhood too. You gotta look out of your house, you gotta see hoop houses, you gotta see guys swinging in the machines, backhoes, loaders, beep. I mean, I might as well go to bed with a construction site.
So Roy, from our standpoint of view, they came in front of us to change it to industrial.
Right.
And the neighborhood came out in force,
Right,
right? And so from a legislative standpoint of view, we didn't do anything because he withdrew his application.
right,
So we didn't have to act.
right.
And lo and behold, the town planner found that it was already a variance, already given to that property back in the 80s, way before you and I got there, even though Bobby such and such didn't,
Bobby Cirillo.
Cirillo didn't develop it, it was granted prior to whenever he had it, probably decades he had it at the time, and maybe he didn't know about it either. But regardless of that, now you're in a situation where the guy is,
He's packing everything in.
he is using that to his advantage as a business to do anything and everything possible on that piece of property.
Right, because you got boats, you got trailers, you got everything in there.
Right, exactly. From our standpoint of view, he went and did it, whoever did it back in the 80s, did it the right way and got a variance, didn't come in front of us, and so we don't have any power to change it. We want to go backwards and say it's residential, that won't happen, because he's not going to come in front of us, and we're certainly not going to change it back to residential.
So-
We don't have the authority.
Yeah, we don't have
So
the
what
authority.
do I have to do? What do I tell the neighbors?
Why don't you pull your research and sue them?
Soon.
I'm just.
I don't know what, I don't.
I have no
think
idea.
You seek a lawyer's opinion, I don't.
I have no
mean,
idea.
Kind of a
we
lawyer.
we don't give that kind of.
Regular lawyer,
Zoning,
zoning lawyer.
zoning law.
Do you have any names or anybody?
Bernie Pelican is good.
There you go.
you have plenty of, you plenty of them, you can search them.
Yeah,
We
just,
can't give legal
yeah, we
advice.
can't.
Anybody?
Exactly.
I get free, so this, I didn't come here to give you guys a hard time, but I see, I can't live in this condition. I want to sell my house. I had 26 lovely years here, and all of a sudden, 26 years.
No, we don't, we can't even tell them, no, either. But we,
And I'm hearing about it tonight the first time, because I'm hearing it right now. I just heard from him. I didn't hear this before.
Well, Roy, you know what? We're just like you. First time we're hearing about it too.
yeah, for fire.
So you're not alone.
Like I say, because you're gonna have a lot of mean neighbors. I tell you see the last time when all the neighbors came in?
Yeah.
And guess what? They'll be coming back again, because they're not happy.
They won't be coming back here because there's nothing we can do
Can't do
about
nothing for it. All right,
It's not
so
for us.
if he goes to there, then he sues them, then what
it.
goes
Well, I
on?
have no idea.
You have no idea.
You have to follow the path.
Roy, this is like giving you a complaint to the fire department. You know, maybe they could do something, but, you know, it's out of our hands.
Okay, but-
You got the wrong department.
All right, I got the wrong point, but in case of a fire or something, that stuff blows up, who's gonna be responsible?
Fire department.
he ain't gonna be able to maintain the fire, because I can tell you, the stuff that they got in the yard. All right,
Well, these are the steps, you have to do. We can't give you legal advice.
No, I didn't expect it.
But the thing is, if you're concerned about contaminants, that's
environmental. DEP?
environmental
Health
questions.
department,
It's not planning and zoning.
Okay. Exactly. All right, so then we'll go from this. All right, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you,
And
sir.
See, we'll see what we gotta do.
Yep.
Thanks, Troy.
There's gonna be a lot of unhappy neighbors.
Nice meeting you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Hi, Mr. Perkins.
By right,
So I'm gonna see a roof on that house.
well, they're gonna have to come back here to get site plan approval to put that on.
You know, it wouldn't have been so bad if they kept everything high. But they're building these monstrosities over there on the bank, it's even making it even worse. Nothing like putting salt in the wounds. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, sir.
So the regulation does say that changes to site plans that do not change parking requirements do not need to come back before the commission.
So he doesn't have any site plan regarding all the parking on his property, is that, did I understand what you just said? Or did I miss it?
There was a site plan filed with the variance
Oh, there was?
that showed parking, and showed the building. So other uses that come about after that, do they need, some of them may be special permits, some of them might be site plan approval. Once you get into that variance gray area, you're sort of in, because the variance just says uses of the I-2 zone. And it doesn't restrict it to the site plan, and it never required a site plan at that point. They just let it go. He's trying to wind down all the campers and the boats. They are sort of going down and going away, and he's working on that. He really sold them during the pandemic when people were buying RVs and running around and doing things, but now they're not. So
Right.
he's sort of stuck with that inventory. He can't even give them away. So they're basically sitting there, and they're his.
Maybe some of the people in North Carolina could still use them if he's giving them away.
Right.
It's gonna get them down there. Tennessee. You're still-
So, we're having an active conversation between Roy and the owner, and
And how does it,
once or twice a week, and,
is there any issue with the neighbor, Tommy Sullivan? Does he complain about it?
not at all.
He's a direct impact right there next to him.
And he's been there forever, right?
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
And he was, the variance references his property as Secondino. He was living there when they got the variance.
Oh, okay.
And there are buffers that are required
Yeah,
by the variance between the industrial zone and the residential zone. And the buffers are pretty much there.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
There is another neighbor complaining as well. There are two of them.
On Williams, up on the hill.
Yeah.
Is anything that we need to do about this, Dave?
No,
All right, so you're earning your keep.
exactly.
Already then?
Yeah, no, when I stumbled over that variance, I was like, ooh, how come nobody found this when they bought the property?
So much for title searches.
Oh, true, that's right. Wow. Wow, would have saved a lot of angst. But in some way.
Well, I could see how they missed it, but I'm not quite sure how I found it.
You played a lottery, you found it. Okay. All right, Dave, what else you got for us here? Some zoning regs?
So these are the Schedule A that I edited a few months ago. And you may want to compare this with the current one. And so I sort of reorganized it so it's into sections like residential uses, agriculture uses, institutional. It's a little easier to find things. And I added a few things like museums. If we ever want to have a museum, we can have a museum.
So they're the ones that not numbered, right, Dave?
Yeah. And I added, I don't think we had any sort of alcoholic beverages actually in the table. Retail sales, we had like C1, C2, C3. I mean, retail sales are pretty much retail sales. So I'd like to take this and give this to the Economic Development Commission to look at. And perhaps some other commissions, so we could get some feedback from the public
Sure.
prior to having a public hearing, since I've heard that's like a really good idea.
I think that's a good idea, Dave. Yeah, I heard that too. It's really smart.
So I would sort of compare this with what we currently have, because what we currently have is really archaic.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of like accessory uses and
Yep.
parentheses
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
so that would be homework.
Yep.
And the other thing I gave you was the,
Do you want to, before we move away
sorry.
from this, do you want to also maybe combine that with our conversation with B1, 2, and 3? Or you want to do that separately? Just do this.
well, I guess, yeah, comparing what's allowed in B1, B2, B3, and I1, I2, I3, and whether they should be combined. I mean, I think the I1 and I2 is relatively easy. The B1 and the B2 basically is North Branford Center and Northford Center versus the rest of the town. So we sort of, this would sort of get into that. There'd be different uses for Northford Center than there would be for Fox and Run,
Okay.
right?
Yep. All right. You have Roy take a look at it, Roy?
Yeah, Rory, I talked to Rory about it today, and I'd like him to give it to the Economic Development Commission. We did have a meeting with them 6 months or so ago,
Yes.
and I think they would like to try to do that again.
Okay.
Would you like to do that again this winter and have a powwow with the EDC?
Sure. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, we did that a while back with Eric, and then I forgot what happened. Maybe COVID, actually.
Then we had another one.
Yeah, might have been COVID.
Yeah, I think Rory's trying to get them to come up with some ideas to talk to you about,
That'd be
as
great.
opposed to just having a meeting.
Yeah.
A productive meeting would be very beneficial to both of us.
Yeah, if they have some ideas about, I mean, one of the conversations that Rory and I keep having is that we have these strip malls all over North Branford that have sandwich boards out in front because you can't see the signs as you drive by in front of the stores, right? and they don't really have a conventional monument sign in front that tells you what's in the mall, the strip mall.
Yeah, right.
So we should, economic development may have some good ideas about how to solve that problem,
Okay.
rather than us trying to come up with it on our own, right? I mean, it's more their issue than it's our issue, because
Yeah.
people can't find the stores.
I can't tell you what a 2x3 sign gonna look like and what's supposed to say on it, and I don't know. I'm not in advertising or marketing, and each individual business requires a certain space. And I don't know whether our regs 8x10 is big enough or small enough, or the font and so on and so forth. I would agree to that 100%. What would you like? And we'll modify our regs accordingly so we all get on the same page.
Right.
You know, I mean, most of North Branford's on the state route, so obviously you have to be off the state right away, but so that can play into it as well, depending on how big the right of way is.
Correct.
Okay.
So they could be like on a drone or something, so they're not on the ground, they're like floating in the air.
There you go. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Form-based zoning.
So the Littleton, Massachusetts had a village district similar to what we have in Northford, with the same sort of description of keep it nice and harmonious, make it look like New England, and didn't really have any bones to it. So they picked up on this form-based narrative, and if you look at page 4, it gives you setbacks that are much more flexible. I think our business zone setback from the street is 50 feet,
50, yeah.
which puts all the parking in front. This one has a primary setback of 10 feet and a maximum setback of 20 feet. So if you're gonna build something new in this zone, it's gonna be 10 feet back from the street, no more than 20 feet back.
Yeah. Good.
And you look at what they built in New Haven and Stamford and all those new buildings, they're all sort of hard on the sidewalk. So we don't have that issue about the buildings being so far back from the road you can't see them.
Yep. And then parking in the back,
Parking in the back.
which is much nicer.
It would open up for Northford Center. You could actually build where there's parking now.
Yeah.
And we talked about possibly putting that access road through the back. This would allow buildings in front. The old town hall site, 1599,
Correct. Yep.
would be a perfect site for this as well. So it doesn't have to follow our Euclidean zoning from the 1960s. We'd be doing something like this.
Yeah.
So that gives you the basic dimensions in terms of the setbacks. And the next few pages talk about what the buildings actually look like. So it's more structural with a building. Page 8 gives you the massing of the buildings, so they can't be more than 45 feet wide. So you don't want massive buildings.
Cool. Good.
And then the next few pages talk about adding on to buildings where they're actually in the setback areas. So you could have connected buildings, so you don't end up with a minimum setback on your sideline. You can actually have buildings that are connected to the next building, like our old classic downtowns that have a strip of buildings for 100 feet connected. Alleyways, walking ways, porches, sidewalks required. So, I mean, I think this is a pretty good, if you look at page 15,
Yeah, just looking at that.
talks about extra frontage types on the road.
It's nice.
I think it ends up giving the developers a lot more opportunities
I
to
agree.
expand.
Yeah,
100%, yeah.
And even in our strip malls that are 50 feet back from the road, you could build something in the front now and have parking in the back, parking between the buildings. So I guess one of the questions would be, where do we land these? They'd actually be a zone. So obviously Northford Center and North Branford Center, the village districts, would be the obvious, easy places to land it. And whether you want to expand that to some of the strip malls along Foxton Road.
so you're considering North Branford to be from the firehouse to the church,
Yeah,
encompassing 1599?
yes,
Right, because we're talking about that, that's most important, and then that, or the library, because there's another mall on the other side of the river,
yeah,
right? Kind of that strip.
pretty
again,
much.
Historical Northford. Do we want, what do you want to, how do you want to move this forward, Dave? This seems to be very comprehensive. We'll
I think,
digest it some
I think
more.
this is pretty comprehensive. It needs a little bit of tweaking.
Yep. There's all the performance measures that we're looking for at 1599.
Yeah. And it's most of the bulk of the square footage of the structures are driven by parking. So that's the way it's controlled. And that's not typically what the other zoning does. We say 2 parking spaces for each. Yeah, no, it's the same, 2,000 square feet. It's driven by parking. But you can have like 80%, 90% coverage on a lot theoretically.
Okay.
But it would be controlled by the parking.
Maybe is your question more, does this get, do we extract this and put this in the village overlay, existing village overlay zones?
Yeah,
We just pull the pertinent stuff and add it?
yeah.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah, just eliminate what we have now and replace it
Oh,
with this, but it would
eliminate.
have the same geographical.
Got it. Make sure you eliminate it and just reference this, or some modification of this.
Yeah, we'd swap it out, basically.
Because there was always those 2 guys, that little commission.
Yeah.
Those
Steve
guys.
Nugent?
Yeah, that's it, Steve Nugent.
Yeah,
Did they get involved in it?
I've shown this to
Oh,
Steve.
you did, okay, good, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's totally,
Good.
like, about time you caught up.
Yeah.
Come on, we move fast here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, I could sort of write it up and push it out so people can look at it and comment to us, and
Yeah. Send it out to all the
maybe in a
agencies.
couple of weeks, they can come back and tell us
Couple
what they
months,
think about it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
rather than just having a public hearing.
That's a classic, Dave,
When you
that's a
said it,
classic.
is it one of the agenda items for the joint EDC meeting?
Yeah,
Right, this, we'll go through the draft version of this, yeah, okay, good.
We'll have a lot of eyes on it this time.
Yeah.
Get a lot of pushback. Understand, but
The question on this, would this be considered a draft?
rough.
Because, we haven't accepted this or anything, so it's,
Dave's gonna modify this, I think, right, and get it prepared to be a draft
It's
Right.
for us to.
Information.
Yeah, this is just a
Conversation.
And then we'll push it out to various people for review.
I'd like to also see, once we get beyond, once we get into the draft section, put draft and with a version number.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
we may modify it and someone else may modify it, and, we're talking about apples and we're talking about oranges,
Right, yeah. Well, this isn't ours, this is Littleton's.
Yeah.
Probably copyrighted, Dave, so you better be careful.
I think all edits, though, and comments need to go. Dave's the point person for incorporating anything. Well, right, I mean, they can't go make their own edit and say, I have version 2, you should use this. It's like, we're not using yours. We need to send,
Yes,
consolidate.
I see that happening, that's why, version
Need to s-
numbers, and you're the
Yeah.
point of
You
contact.
need to, you need to send your version or edits to Dave.
Okay. We were chatting about Northford study. Want to share where we're at with
So
that?
the Northford study has been slightly, so we've dealt with a bunch of intersections in Northford. So we've got the southern intersection where the gas station is and that traffic light. And we're trying to align Ardsley Avenue with that traffic light. We're going to move Ardsley Avenue south, align it with the traffic light and the church across the street and Middletown Avenue, and end up basically with a four-way intersection at that traffic light rather than the Y.
Yeah.
Then we've also dealt with the northern intersection where the library is and Mansfield comes out, and we've talked about realigning that so Clintonville Road, Mansfield would be two-way,
Oh,
and get rid of the dog leg
Yeah.
and all that
oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And the state actually was like really acceptable. And we were blown away by the state saying, yeah, that's actually a good idea. So we've included that in the final plan of making that a two-way intersection. And we've focused our work on the southern end on realigning Ardsley. We've gotten another $50,000 grant from SCROG to push this a little bit further along and actually do some engineering and surveying from the community center up to the new Ardsley Avenue intersection. So we're going to do a real survey and find out where all the state rights of way end, and then put together a plan that's engineered to a certain extent for that southern end.
They're not considering a roundabout anymore?
No.
It was voted down at the public meeting.
And then do a further study of the byway, the boulevard that goes behind Rite Aid and connects Mansfield to Middletown Avenue. But we're going to focus our engineering work on that southern end, getting the curb cuts filled in and getting that straightened out. And I think that's sort of been my priority, is to clean up the curb cuts and make it safer. And everything else would be gravy. But if we can get 40% of the engineering done for that southern end, that would make getting a grant to actually do it a whole lot easier. If I can apply for a grant and say,
Yeah.
look, we've done
Yeah, exactly.
40%, can you finish the work that we've done already?
Yeah.
Rather than just having a book that we put on the shelf and
Yeah.
the next town planner comes in and says, oh, let's do that again.
Sounds good.
That'd be beautiful.
That's where we are.
One less study that we put on the shelf.
Yeah, no, I want to make it happen.
Very good, Dave. Thank you. Thank you for the update. Anything else? All right. With that being said, Ron, I think this is your next. Oh, was it?
Last night.
Yep. That was the planner's report.
Oh, I thought that was other business.
Well, we kind of rolled right into
Anything coming up for the 16th?
There is a, up by your house.
Pavilion.
The pavilion.
30 by 50 pavilion. Yep.
And they want to put an addition on Public Works
Huh?
for new locker rooms and office space. So hopefully that will be on. And maybe that structure by the football field might be through wetlands by that time.
Okay.
where's the pavilion at the Northford Park?
Backyard.
Oh, in your backyard.
It's my front yard. It's my neighbor. I'm within a certain radius, so I got the notice.
Okay.
That's the only reason I know.
So, inquiring minds want to know, is there any activity with Rite Aid?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can I, do I have to recuse myself being a neighbor? Or can I just say that I'm the neighbor, but I'm gonna
I
be
don't think you have
objective?
to.
I don't, right? I don't have to.
Yeah.
I'll just state that I am the neighbor of these folks, but that I'm gonna remain objective to the, yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, I don't have any problem with it, so it's not like I'm,
That's even better.
yeah, exactly. I mean, but I don't want to also view like, either way, someone can look at it squirrely.
Yeah, I think
I'm
if-
an objective commissioner. We all are, so
You can't vote on it.
I can't vote, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And my other commissions, they all abstain themselves.
I'll just abstain, it's probably cleaner, but I can contribute to the discussion at least.
I think as long as you explain yourself, you can do whatever you want. It's your choice.
It is your choice, Bill. There's no financial gain on it.
No.
You're not in the,
Yeah.
there's anything associated with that, so.
No, I think if I was strongly for or against or something, making a statement that was unusual for me to be like, what's going on with this guy? But I'll make a game day decision. I mean, I'll contribute to the discussion. If I don't vote, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So that means you're gonna be here?
Unless something happens. Unless something happens.
Nice. Thanks. Thanks, Dave.
Okay,
Ron, this is, you want to contribute for number 9? This is usually your item, right? Can't break from tradition. What's 25?
I'll handle the entire
Agenda item number 9?
agenda item number
All right.
9. Well, I guess I can't do the entire.
Yeah, you can't do it entirely, but
I motion we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, meeting adjourned.